Hello students, today we will do the magnetic field and Lorentz force, that is our topic 4.2.2. Now in the first chapter we have seen that if a charged particle having a charge Q enters into the electric field E, then the force acting on it is given by this formula. So this is E refers here the electric force. So when any charged particle enters into a uniform electric field, then the electric force acting on it was given by the formula Q into E. Similarly, many experiments were performed by the scientist Ampere, and experimentally he found that when a charged particle enters into the magnetic field, again a force acts on it, and that force was named as a magnetic force. We will see many experiments performed by the scientist Ampere, where we'll see how much force act on it. For the time being, we directly take a formula. Suppose the charged particle Q, having a charge Q, that is a point charge, enters in the magnetic field moving with the velocity v vector. So here the situation here was that electric field was there and the charged particle is kept inside the electric field. It can also be moving. So we have seen this force was an electrostatic force, that was a charged particle was at that time in chapter 1 was considered at rest. So charge was at rest and the force acting was QE. In this chapter, suppose a charged particle is moving with a velocity v vector and it enters into the magnetic field. So now this is the magnetic field. Suppose this is a uniform magnetic field which is taken along the x-axis. Now suppose a point charge Q enters in it and it is moving with the velocity v vector, where theta is an angle between the velocity and the magnetic field. So this is your a point charge Q. Now according to Ampere, experimentally he found that the experiment we will see later on, he said that, or he found that the force act on this charged particle and the magnetic force is given by the formula Q V cross B. So this is the magnetic force acting on any charge moving in an electric field. Now this magnetic force depends on the magnitude of the charge, the speed with which it is moving, and the magnetic field. And the relation is the cross product between V vector and B vector. So magnetic force properties are: number one, it depends on Q, V vector and B vector. Now this magnetic force, suppose let us give this as equation 1. This is the formula for force. So equation 1 gives force acting on positive charge, acting on a positive charge. So if the charge is positive, we apply this formula. If the charge is negative, the direction of the force will be opposite, because we will take a minus sign. So equation 1 is applicable for a force acting on a positive charge if negative charge is moving in magnetic field, say B vector, then the force acting is in opposite direction. Then the force acting on it is in the opposite direction. That is a common sense. Suppose a proton is entering. So we will write E here, small e, that is a charge on a proton. And if electron enters, we will write minus E. So the direction of the force acting on the positive and the negative charge should be opposite to each other. And it depends on these three physical quantity. Now, the relation here is a cross product, where B is the magnetic field intensity at any instant. Here the magnetic field intensity is taken as uniform. Now, the magnitude of this force. Now we will first discuss about the magnetic force. So, the second property, or we are discussing this portion only. So if I have to write down the magnitude of the force, or the magnitude of magnetic force, that is Fn will be equal to QVB sin theta, where theta is the angle between V vector and B vector. So this is the magnitude of the magnetic force. In vector form, we have to consider a direction also. So let us say this is equation number 2. In vector form, the same equation 1 can be written as QVB sin theta n cap. Let us say this is equation number 3. N cap is a unit vector which gives the direction of the magnetic force. So n cap is a unit vector indicating direction of Fm vector, that is the magnetic force. M for magnetic, E for electric. Now, the particle can enter. Clearly, this force depends on theta, and theta is angle between V vector and B vector. So theta can vary from 0 to 360 or at any angle. Suppose we take the cases now that a particle enter parallel or anti-parallel to the magnetic field. So if a particle enter parallel to the magnetic field, suppose the particle enter in this direction, then clearly the angle is 0 and sin 0 is 0. So no force will act on it and the particle will travel along the straight line. Similarly, if the particle enters anti-parallel to it, suppose particle enter from the opposite side, then the theta is 180. Again sin 180 is 0. So third point, or you can say it is the case if charged particle enters parallel or anti-parallel, then Fm is equal to 0 because theta is 0 degree or 180 degree. And you do remember that the trajectory or the path will not change. So there is no force acting on it. So if the particle is traveling along the x-axis, it will remain undeflected. That is, it remain undeflected. And trajectory or the path is straight line. path or the trajectory is a straight line. Now we will discuss the different cases. Suppose the particle enters perpendicular to the magnetic field. So if the particle is entering perpendicular to the magnetic field, that is 90 degree, sin 90, that is the maximum force will act on it. And the direction of the force will be perpendicular to V vector and B vector. We know that in a cross product, the direction of Fm or the magnetic force is perpendicular to V vector and B vector. The angle between V and B can be anything, can be any value. But the angle between the magnetic force and V vector or the angle between magnetic force and B vector is 90 degree. That is, the resultant is always perpendicular to the two vectors in a plane. So if we consider these two vectors in a plane, we will see how to find out the direction. The direction is found by a right hand screw rule or a right hand thumb rule. So we will come to that point. So if charged particle enters perpendicular to B vector, then the magnitude of force will be equal to QVB. And we will see that in this situation, if the magnetic field exists, then the body or a charged particle will perform a uniform circular motion. So if theta is 0 or 180, the trajectory is a straight line. But if the particle enter perpendicular, the force acting on it is maximum. This is the maximum force acting on it. And that is force acting is maximum and trajectory is circular or a circle. So the trajectory is a circular motion. So we will come to that point that whenever a charged particle will enter perpendicular to the magnetic field, it will perform a uniform circular motion. So these are the few points which are related to the magnetic force. Now let us see the fifth property or a fifth point related to the magnetic force. So if we take the value of QVFM to be 1 unit, it means if 1 coulomb of charge enters in the magnetic field moving with a speed of 1 meter per second and the force acting on it is 1 Newton, then we can define the unit of B to be 1 unit. So in the fifth point, if we want to discuss about the unit, we take Q to be 1 coulomb, V to be 1 meter per second, force should be say 1 Newton. If the force acting is 1 Newton, then B is equal to 1 unit. Now what is this B unit? So from this equation or from equation 3, theta is dimensionless. So I can write B is equal to Fm upon QV. So SI unit is Newton per coulomb, velocity that is meter per second. So that is Newton second per coulomb meter. That is the SI unit, and this is referred as 1 Tesla. So 1 Tesla is equal to 1 Newton second per coulomb meter. So this is the SI unit of the magnetic field, that is B. So it is denoted by capital T. So 1 Tesla or SI unit of the magnetic field is Tesla. Now this Tesla is a very big unit. So if I say the magnetic field is 1 Tesla, it is a very large value. So we use a smaller unit of B vector is Gauss, that is denoted by capital G, and it has been given as 1 Tesla is equal to 10 raised to minus 4 Gauss. So this is the unit of SI unit, that is Tesla. 1 Tesla is equal to 1 Newton second per coulomb meter, and the smaller unit is Gauss, and 1 Tesla is equal to 10 raised to minus 4 Gauss. So this is the magnetic force when a charged particle enters into a magnetic field. Now the relation is a cross product. It means we have to find out the direction of the magnetic force acting on the charged particle. So the direction of the magnetic force is found from the right hand screw rule, or you can also apply a right hand thumb rule. So let us see how the direction is determined. So the 6th point about the magnetic field is the direction of magnetic force. The direction of magnetic force is determined by right hand screw rule or right hand thumb rule. So it is clear that the magnitude of force we have discussed. If it is entering by making an angle 0 or 180, force was 0. If it enters perpendicular, the force is maximum. But if it enters making an angle theta, then this force, that is the magnetic force, is perpendicular to the plane containing V and B. So if I consider this board as a plane, this is a board which is considered as a plane. Suppose the magnetic field is in this direction and the charged particle, say this is a charged particle, it is moving in this direction, that is V vector, and this angle is theta. Now this is a plane. So here the magnetic field is along the x-axis and the charged particle is entering making an angle theta. So this is an angle theta. This is an angle theta. Now you have to determine the direction of the magnetic force. You have to consider the direction of the magnetic force. So this is the plane. The magnetic field is along the x-axis. This is V vector. Now we assume this pen as a screw. We are applying the right hand screw rule. So we keep the pointed end of a screw perpendicular to the plane containing V vector and B vector. That is, I keep a screw perpendicular to this plane and I rotate it in the direction from V to B. So this is the right hand screw rule, which you have studied in standard 11th for a cross product. So I rotate this screw from V to B. The screw is rotated from V to B. Now if I rotate screw from V to B, then the screw is, if I see the head of a screw, it is anti-clockwise direction and the screw is coming out from the plane of paper. It means this charged particle having charge Q, instead of moving along this path, it will come out from the plane of the board or from this plane, that is outward. So if I apply the screw rule for this diagram, Fm is coming out from plane containing V vector and B vector. So it is coming out from the plane containing V vector and the B vector, or coming out from the plane of board. Example, let us say this is the board. So this is how we find out the direction. Now if the particle, suppose the magnetic field is in same direction and the particle is moving, again making an angle theta, this is your charged particle, again you keep a screw perpendicular to this plane of a board, rotate it in a direction from V to B. Now if I rotate it and if I see the head, it is clockwise, or the screw is going into the plane of the paper. So here Fn is going into plane of paper, or say a plane of board. It is inward. So it is, this is outward and it is going inward. So we have discussed in first lecture, if it is something is going into the plane, it was denoted by a cross, and this should be denoted by a dot. That is the direction of the force acting on a charged particle. Now this is how we apply the screw rule. Now suppose I want to apply a right hand thumb rule. So in that situation also, suppose I apply the thumb rule in this direction for this diagram. So in this case, this is your B and this is your V. So I keep my finger, I take a right hand, this is my right hand, this is my plane, this hand is my plane. So I have to take this palm at this point, I keep this, and I have to move from V to B. I have to curl my palm from V to B because V is falling on B. So I will keep this plane, that is my palm, perpendicular to the plane containing this two vector. So this is the plane of V and B vector, and I keep my palm perpendicular. Now I curl my fingers so that V falls on B. So if I see my thumb, it is going into the plane of the paper. If V is this, like this, that is the first diagram. Again, I keep my palm at this point, that is perpendicular to that plane, and I have to move this from V to B. So if I curl my fingers from V to B, this thumb comes outward. So that is a right hand thumb rule. So depending on your convenience, if you are comfortable with a right hand screw rule, you apply right hand screw rule, or you apply a right hand thumb rule. You can use this rules to determine the direction of the magnetic force. Similarly, suppose I change a plane. Let us understand again this direction by another diagram. Suppose I draw a plane like this. That is, I take the plane like this. This is my plane. Earlier the plane was like this. B vector was in this direction. B was like this, or V was like this. Sorry, B was along the x-axis, so that was a previous time. Now this plane is taken like this. Again, the magnetic field is taken along x-axis, and this is your V vector. This is your angle theta. So this is my plane. This is my B vector, and so now diagram is like this. This is my B vector. This is my V vector like this. Plane is taken like this. So this is B vector kept here, and this is V vector like this. Earlier the plane was like this. That was a board. Now I change the direction of the plane only. So this is the situation. Now I keep a screw. This is a screw. I keep screw perpendicular to this plane. Now this is my V vector. This is my V vector. I rotate this from V to B. So if I rotate it, you will see the force is, or the screw is moving upward. The screw is moving upward. So in this situation, if this is your plus Q charge, then the force comes out to be in the upward direction. So this is the situation. Earlier the situation was like this. Now the situation is like this. B is taken along x-axis and V enters like that. So this is the situation. Now in this case, I keep a screw perpendicular to it and I move from V to B. Or instead of this screw rule, I can apply right hand thumb rule. So this is B, this is V. So I have to take a plane like this now, perpendicular to the plane containing V and B. And I rotate my fingers from V to B. So this is V to B, this is B, this is V. Thumb comes upward. So that is the magnetic force. If the charged particle is, suppose, negative, then the direction is vertically downward. So this is how we discuss the points related to the magnetic field. Suppose we take an example to apply this formula. So let us take a small MCQ, a proton moving along x-axis. So proton is moving along x-axis with speed 20 meter per second in a magnetic field 20 Tesla or 20 J Tesla. So the magnetic field is along the y-axis. Find magnetic force. So I have to find out the magnetic force as well as its direction. So using this formula, Fm is equal to it is a proton, so I write E. Here I write 20 I. The particle is moving along the x-axis cross 20 J. So this is equal to 20 that is 400 into E. Now this is into sign I cross J. So if you remember this diagram, this is I cap, J cap, so I cross J. So if I keep a screw perpendicular to the plane containing I and J and rotate it from I to J, thumb is outward, that is Z axis, that is K. So the particle will move along the positive Z axis and its magnitude is 400 multiplied by E. You keep the value of E as 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. So that much Newton force act on it. So I cross J, it was K, then J cross K, it is I, and K cross I was equal to J. So if any charged particle enters into the magnetic field, it will experience a magnetic force. The magnetic force is given by this formula from the experiment performed by Ampere. We will come to this experiments also, how Ampere formulated this formula. Now let us talk about the Lorentz force. The Lorentz force is simple. Again, a scientist Lorentz gave this formula. Now according to him, if a charged particle, so we will consider again a charged particle is moving in an electric as well as magnetic field. Now both the fields are present and the resultant force acting on it is given by, so let us consider a point charge, that is Q, velocity V vector, electric field at any instant, that is E vector, R vector, where R is the position of a particle at any instant, magnetic field B vector at any instant, so it is a function of the position vector of a particle. So if a point charge is moving with a velocity V, it will experience the electric force as well as magnetic force. So let us say this is an electric field. Say the magnetic field is along the y-axis and a charged particle is moving inside it. Now in this situation, the charged particle will experience electric force according to the chapter 1 and the magnetic force according to Ampere. So the Lorentz force or the resultant force, which is called as a Lorentz force F at any instant where R is a position vector, is given as Fe plus Fm, that is electric force plus magnetic force. Now, electric force we know that is QE vector at any instant plus this is Q V cross magnetic field at that point or at that situation or at that instant. So if I take Q as a common, the Lorentz force is given as Q E vector plus V cross B vector. So this force, that is the resultant force, is called as the Lorentz force. So Lorentz force is nothing. Lorentz says if any charged particle enters in an electric as well as magnetic field, both the fields are present, then electric as well as magnetic force will act on it, and the resultant is given by this formula. Now, depending upon the direction, that at what angle a charged particle enter, we will determine the path followed by a charged particles in the coming lecture. So if a particle enters, say, parallel to the magnetic field, so magnetic field parallel means angle is 0, so no magnetic force will act, and only the electric force will act on it. And in that situation, when the charged particle try to move in this direction, the electric force will act and it will perform a parabolic motion, that we will see what will be the trajectory. For the time being, this is the resultant force acting on the charged particle. We have discussed the point about this. You have to remember that magnetic force act on a charged particle only when it is in motion. So if you can say it is a 7th point of a magnetic force, we have discussed the 6th point. Now this is a 7th point. If v vector or the velocity of a particle is 0, that is, particle is at rest. Particle at rest means the first chapter, that is electrostatic. Now if the particle is at rest, Fm is equal to 0, so the Lorentz force at any instant will be equal to the electric force, that is Q into E, that is the electric force. So this is how the Lorentz force has been determined by the formula. Directly we have written the formula. We will discuss the Ampere's experiment or Ampere's observation in the coming days. Now let us see a small MCQ related to this formula. So I am taking directly the value. Suppose a proton, we take example as a proton having speed equal to 20 meter per second, and let us say the direction is I, and so v vector is 20, say b vector, that is 20 j meter, that is 20 j Tesla, and the resultant force, that is the Lorentz force, is given. Suppose the Lorentz force is given to us is, so F vector, that is the Lorentz force, is say 500 K Newton. Then determine the electric field intensity. So these are the random values I have written. You have to simply substitute these values in this formula. Clearly, the charged particle enter perpendicular to the magnetic field. If it makes an angle theta, we will consider the theta value there, that is a sine theta. Here the particle enters perpendicularly. So if I use this formula, the resultant force is 500 K. Instead of Q, I write a proton. E, electric field has to be found, plus P cross B, that is 20I cross 20J. So this is how we apply the formula. Therefore 500 K cap upon E, this comes to this point, is equal to E vector R vector plus 400 I cross J, that is K cap. So ER vector is equal to 500 divided by E K cap minus 400 cap. So whatever is the answer, the direction of the electric field should be along the z axis, or it is a K cap. So this is how you find out the electric field intensity at any instant when a charged particle which is moving along the x-axis enters perpendicular to the magnetic field. So in this situation, the electric field, if I have to draw the diagram, the electric field is along the z-axis, the magnetic field is along y-axis, the particle enters like this, and this is my electric field intensity. So in this situation, the electric field intensity should be along the z-axis, or you can say if a charged particle enters perpendicular to the magnetic field, it will also be perpendicular to the electric field. So if E and B are perpendicular to each other, V is perpendicular to it, that we have found, or B and V, that is the cross product is K, then the resultant force is also perpendicular to this. So electric field is along z-axis and the resultant force is also along the z-axis. So simply you substitute all the values given to you and use the cross product for this magnetic force. It is simple. Electric force, that is direction, will be found from taking these unit vectors. So this is the information about the magnetic force and the Lorentz force. You have to remember, this Lorentz force is the force acting on a charged particle moving in electric as well as magnetic force. That is the resultant force. Lorentz force is the resultant of the electric and the magnetic force. In the coming days, we will see what will happen if a wire which is carrying current is placed in the magnetic field. So if I say this is a wire carrying current I, suppose the current is in the upward direction. Now, what are the mobile charge carriers of current? That are the free electrons. So current is due to the motion of electron. So at microscopic level, we can say that all the electrons are moving in the downward direction. If the current is taken upward, the conventional current is upward. So electronic current is in the downward direction. So if I consider one electron, then the Lorentz force can be given by this equation. But if there are n electrons, then what will be the resultant force acting on the entire wire? So we will use this formula, but there will be n mobile charge carriers. So in that situation, we will apply the concept of the third chapter, and we will see what will be the force acting on a wire carrying current I. Have a nice day.